Hello again and welcome to another Mordy and Glory Warhammer 40k video. In today's episode, we're going to look at Commissars. Now, if you're anything like me, you love a cheeky Commissar in your guard army. They're such an iconic unit and they add a ton of flavour, albeit grim dark seasoning, to any guard force. But sadly, these political officers have not been doing so well in 10th edition. Whilst a lot of their rules are cool, they are somewhat ineffective on the battlefield. And that's a big shame because I feel like Commissars make up a big part of the Guard identity. I mean, come on, there aren't many factions out there that allow you to execute your own guys just to try and make them fight harder. And so what I want to do today is a little fun mental exercise where we take a look at the Commissars datasheet and we see how we could fix them. What would I change about this unit to make it fun and flavorful, but also actually usable in a proper competitive game of 40k? And so without further ado, let's show them steel, let's show them contempt, and let's charge right into today's episode. Overall, I do like the Commissar's general profile. He's movement 6, toughness 3, and a 5+ save. If I was to change anything about his basic stat line, I would consider giving him 1 extra wound. I know right now that his 3 wounds puts him in line with some of the other junior officer style characters like the platoon commander and the preacher and hell even the engine seer, but I feel like the Commissar is higher up in the hierarchy than them. Now technically they are outside of the chain of command, but just in terms of badass, I feel like a Commissar is more in line with Acadian Castellan, with being a roving character that's leading from the front, being generally inspiring and awesome, and as a result I feel like he should have that extra wound. If he doesn't have the extra wound, it would be cool for him to have something like a 6+ feel no pain. Now that's just a little nice to have. 6 feel no pain, it might save a wound here and there, it might mean it takes an extra shot to kill the Commissar, but I like that because it adds a bit of flavour and it kind of shows that the Commissar is no tougher than a junior officer. He's no tougher or gnarled or grizzled than, let's say, like a preacher, but he has that sheer force of will, that John Wick singular mindset and commitment and fanaticism to the Emperor's cause. So giving him that 6 feel no pain to represent that he's just too angry to die would be kind of cool without being overpowered. And we're not saying he gives it to the whole unit, he just has it for himself.
Attention guardsmen, the Commissariat has detected you have not yet liked this video. Do so immediately or else you will face the Emperor's wrath. And anyone who has not yet subscribed to the channel will be transferred to the penal battalions. That is all. Move out!
In terms of weapons and war gear, I understand that Games Workshop is currently committed to, at least with 40k, only giving you options that come in the box. However, we have seen them thawing that policy slightly with games like the Old World, which have very, very flexible character customization and really just give you all the options and leave it up to the player to model the character. So if we could have that with 40k and Commissars, I'd love to see Commissars start getting both better and worse weapon options. I'd love to see a Commissar with a las pistol. I know it sounds silly, but it's a very common sidearm. And also, you could use it to represent Caiaphas Cain. He has a las pistol. I'd like also to see Commissars get things like bolters back. For ages and ages, edition after edition, your Commissar could have a bolter. I have numerous Commissars modelled with them. I'd like for me to be able to use those models again. But there's also some changes I'd make on the melee weapon side. Specifically, I really think Commissars should get power fists. I have a number of old metal Commissars which have power fists and they look badass. There's a really cool classic sculpt of a Commissar stood on an ammo tin with a copy of the uplifting primer in one hand, and he's raising his power fist above and he's giving a big speech to the guardsmen around him, and it's one of my favorite models. And yet he can't have that power fist. He has a power weapon, but it's not the same. I'd really like for my Commissars to get their big old fisty things back so I could be bopping heretics on the head with them. However, if I'm being honest, those changes regarding weapons and war gear in the profile, they're kind of like nice to have, they're alright. But where I'd love some of the #1 fixes to come in, and some of these could be done right now by an FAQ, it could be instant fixes, is on the abilities and order side of the Commissar datasheet. Firstly, I'd like to see a clarification from Games Workshop on how summary execution interacts with orders. So right now, if you are a guard unit, in the beginning of your command phase, you issue your orders, and then you do your battle shock tests. And if you fail your battle shock test, then the order ceases to affect that unit. It's pretty straightforward, right? You then bring summary execution in, and this says that once per battle round at the start of any phase, you can select one friendly Astra Militarum infantry unit that is battle shocked within 12 inches of this model. If you do, one model in that unit is destroyed, and that unit is then no longer battle shocked. There is some argument to be made that if the unit becomes unbattle shocked, it starts being affected by the order again, because if you go to voice of command, it doesn't say that the order goes away. It doesn't say that the unit is no longer affected by the order. It just says that the order ceases to affect the unit. There is a bit of an argument to be made that when the Commissar executes the unit, they start being affected by the order again. Because voice of command doesn't say that the order goes away. It just says that when the unit is battle shocked, the order ceases to affect unit. So is the order still there, just not affecting the unit, or does the order completely go away? I'd like to see a clarification one way or another. Right now, I think everyone is playing it that the Commissar doesn't give you your orders back, and that it just stops you from losing your objective control. But honestly, I would like to see the Commissar summary execution ability expanded to say, and that unit is no longer battle shocked, and any orders that were affecting the unit continue or begin affecting it again. Because when you think about it, it makes sense. The unit receives an order, they then shit themselves, the Commissar blows someone's brains out, and they're like, we should probably do as we're told. I think if Commissars had this and they protected your orders from battle shock straight away without any of the changes, they would become a lot more interesting and more viable. I'm not certain it would make them suddenly included in everyone's list, but I would certainly start having a Commissar here and there, because it would give me that peace of mind knowing that no matter what, my take aim is going to be working, my take cover is going to be working. And if those orders went away at the worst possible time, it could cause me to have a bit of a dilemma on the battlefield. Just a little clarification would go a long way. However, I do want to expand some of his other capabilities. Specifically, I want to add more units that he can lead. I want him to lead abhumans, ogrins, and bullgrins. If you did this, it would make him overnight an incredible unit. You'd see him popping up in competitive lists left, right, and center. And that's because bullgrins are really good, but they're a bit tricky to get orders on because you've got the Lord Solar, but really he wants to be bossing around things like tanks. And so more often than not, you find your bullgrin going without and just having to stand on their own to, admittedly, large feet. But if you had a Commissar in there and he could tell them to fix bayonets, baby, telling you right now, you'd see Commissars in a lot of lists straight away. But speaking of orders, I'd like to expand the list of orders the Commissar can do. Right now, it's just duty and honor and fix bayonets. And whilst I love how flavorful that is, it is very, very limiting, because duty and honor isn't really very useful for a lot of the units that you can join. Cadence shock troops, cat and jungle fighters, all your battle line, they're already very OC intensive. And then you've got Kazakin and Scions, which I guess would benefit from duty and honor if Kazakin couldn't do it themselves and Scions couldn't just get a sound command squad with a flag. And in fact, you don't want to put him on Kazakin as well because he stops them from scouting. And you don't want to put him on cat and jungle fighters because he stops them from scouting, which means he doesn't work with fixed bayonets either. So he's just not got a good target for his orders. If he could go in Ogrins and then he could tell them to fix bayonets, but also tell him to move, that would make him good in all sorts of ways. Because movement wins games. And if this guy stayed 30 points and he could just do move, he would be the cheapest source of additional movement in the army. And that would make him very, very desirable. Having Ogrins and Bulgrins move up the board so they can start getting to combat quicker is great. Having your infantry being able to move around means they can start getting onto objectives, and then you can start having duty and honor and other things working. I'd like to see him do all the orders though. Honestly, I would love to see this guy doing take aim as well as take cover. I just think he should be a regiment agnostic, unit agnostic, independent officer that you can attach onto any unit, and he's just a cheap source of one order for any squad. That would, honestly, more than anything else, you get rid of everything else, all the suggestions, and you just say you can do all the orders. Even if they're not to have humans, you could just do all the orders. That would fix him, and he would make him a unit that you'd start seeing in every list, and the guard would start feeling a bit more like the guard again. At least that's what I think. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. How would you fix the Commissar? And are there any other units that you want me to take a look at and say what I would do to make them a little bit better? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members, so thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Wolf, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.